March 16th, 2017. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 122 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So, March Madness, huh?
Yes.
Here we go.
Exciting.
Very exciting. So, yeah.
As we're talking, there's a game going on.
That's right, one of the play-in games. Mm-hmm. So, but when we post this, all the games will be underway. So we drew last night for
our pool.
Who was your top pick?
My top pick is Villanova, which is great because they're the number one overall pick.
Right.
They're the defending champions, and they actually happen to be on a roll right now. They're playing right now better than they have the rest of the season.
Nice, good pick.
Yeah, so I got lucky. I mean, it's all random.
Sure, yes.
Right. But, I was happy with my second pick, which is like a third seed, Oregon.
Right. Oregon, yeah, that's good too, yeah.
They're a good team. They had one of their star players get hurt recently, but they're still a very good team, and they should go far.
And that's my alma mater. I didn't graduate from Oregon, but I started college there and then transferred down
what is
here
that
to
called
UCSD.
when you start somewhere and don't finish?
And don't finish? It's a loser. That's what it's called.
I mean, it's not your alma mater. That's where you graduated from.
Oh, right. So, yeah, I transferred to a different school. So I don't know if I can call it an alma mater or...
We got to come up with it. There
else.
should be a term for that,
Maybe
like where
is.
you started college,
not
necessarily finish, That way you can say, oh, I'm at, blah, 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 community college.
Yeah, that's my alma mater. Well, I got Kansas, so I guess I'm happy with that.
Yeah, Kansas is playing well right now,
so that's another number one seed. It's funny because when we were drawing last night, our friend Paul, he came to poker. We kind of combine, a poker game and draw the teams. He came and he said, "Oh, I just hope I don't pick Gonzaga. I hope I don't draw Gonzaga." He must have
said that 25 times. Oh, I hope I don't get Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be so upset if I get Gonzaga.
And it's funny because, they are a number one seed, and it is a little controversial because, their schedule was soft. They've got a good record, but are they really that good?
Early in the year, before they got into their conference play, they played Arizona, and they beat Arizona handily. Yeah. Arizona's a number, 2 seed?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not a bad team.
I think it's interesting. He actually made a wager with one of your bowling friends.
Right.
He got 20-1 odds that Gonzaga would be eliminated in the first round.
Yeah, Paul thinks that they will lose the very first game, a number one seed, the first number one seed ever to lose. And he said, well, it's only $5, but he could win 100 if they...
20-1, those aren't good odds. He should have gotten better odds. Now, I realize this is just between friends, and the friend might not be willing to give him more than 20-1. Right?
I would have probably given him at least 50-1.
And it makes me mad because I'm thinking about it. I should have made the bet with him too. I said, yeah, Paul, I'll give you 20-1 odds for that first round.
Right. Yeah, I know. I was thinking that when we were talking about it.
Well.
I was thinking of giving him 50-1. I'd get a free $5.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Well, I understand why he doesn't like Gonzaga. Okay. But I told him today that Gonzaga is going to go way further than he thinks. Now, I hope that isn't the kiss of death for Gonzaga, but they're not a bad team, and their big man in the middle is very good. And if he plays up to his potential, they could be a Final Four team.
All right.
I think they at least are a Final 8 team.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
I don't see them losing, before the round of 16.
All right. So Dr. Mike has spoken, folks. You know his track record, so bet accordingly.
Yeah, bet accordingly. Well, I have Villanova, so maybe nobody wants to take Villanova either. Right?
Well, that wasn't your. I mean, that was a random pick. That wasn't you deciding you wanted to pick a Villanova.
Well, if I had to decide, though, that's who I would have taken.
All right.
Them or North Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, those I think are the two top teams, right?
Yeah.
Playing right now, and I do watch a lot of college basketball.
Certainly more than I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I have a handle on it. That doesn't mean anything at all when it comes to the tournament. Do you have a dark horse? Do you have some team that is not ranked high that you think may win?
Yeah, Iowa State is going to win the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay.
That's I posted my bracket on Twitter, and I had Iowa State going all the way to the championship and winning the championship.
Right.
Yeah, so that's
Are they in the tournament?
I'll have to check. That's a good point. I do need to check that.
Seriously, I saw your picks. Okay.
Oh, the ones I drew, the random ones, yeah.
And Florida, Notre Dame, and Arkansas.
Those are my top 4, top 3 behind Kansas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are all 3 good teams.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah,
seriously, Arkansas is much better than people think. I was surprised they dropped to an 8 seed.
All right, well, I'll take your word for
they
it.
could make it. They could easily make it to the final 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they shouldn't, right? The final 16 should be only the top 4 in each bracket.
Well, as many of you are listening to this, it's possible that some of these teams we've talked about have already been eliminated because, again, we're going to post this on Thursday.
Right.
And if you don't listen to it till the weekend, so many games will have already gone by. But anyway, if you're in...
Well, you can listen to it first thing Thursday and somebody might have already lost.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They start pretty early.
They start early, yeah. So... Anyway, if you're in some kind of pool or, good luck, but just enjoy the games. This is the best time of the year for sports.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's nonstop basketball.
Yeah, it's just so great this
if you
first
like
weekend.
any sport at all.
And I'm not a big basketball guy, but I love this tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's college, too.
Yeah, that makes
like.
it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they had a tournament with the NBA,
oh, no.
I could care less,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
I mean, this is the epitome of a sports tournament.
Yeah, it's a great tournament. Well, we got an email from listener Alex. He was asking about markers, casino credit. And I know we've talked about it in passing on previous episodes, but I don't know if we really talked about it in depth since you, Dr. Mike, have started using it at Harrah's Southern California.
Just here at Harrah's Southern California.
So we thought this might be a good opportunity to actually talk about the ins and outs of it and what you need to do and how you feel about it and what have you. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really that complicated.
No.
I mean,
it's just a matter of sitting down and doing it.
Right. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it. If you go to the casino, you tell them you want to get a marker, they'll give you some forms to fill out.
Right.
And basically, they're asking for your bank account number, somewhere where they can take an electronic transfer of funds from.
Yes.
So whatever that is for you. And usually they want 2 of them. So, you have to have 2 banks or whatever, or a credit card with a high limit on it or some way they can get the money.
Yeah, so you're basically filling out forms either in person or a lot of places have it online where you can sign up for credit online, where you're providing a lot of personal information, including bank account information.
Including bank account information, yeah.
And don't you also ask for a certain amount? Isn't that one thing that you actually say, here's how much I would like to go for?
They actually, on the form, it has a thing like, how much are you requesting? Now,
how much credit?
Yeah,
overall. Not for like a single marker, but for overall. The most you can have.
The max you can have
borrowed from them.
Outstanding with them.
Yeah.
And so I asked for a certain amount and they just approved it in my case. I would imagine if you asked for too much and your bank accounts didn't substantiate that you can cover that, they might say, well, let's say you wanted 10,000. They might say, well, no, we're going to give you 5,000.
Yeah, they may just offer you a lower amount, or they may send it back to you and say, oh, it didn't go through, or it's too much.
Try again.
Right.
Yeah. But for me, I asked for a certain amount. They approved it. That process took about 2 weeks.
It was longer than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And again, this is just...
I kind of thought it'd be like, oh, okay, we just checked your credit. You're good. Yeah. Here you go.
And this was just for Harrah's Southern California. So you actually applied for credit there, but that doesn't mean that you have credit at any other Caesars properties.
No, just at that casino.
Right.
And I assume that's the way it works even in Vegas.
I think for the most part, it's on a casino by casino basis. There may be some properties that are tied together where you can get a line of credit that crosses those properties.
Right.
But I think for the most part, it's casino by casino.
Yeah, I think that would make their paperwork a heck of a lot easier. Transferring, if you're at Caesars and you ask for money and it's here at Harrah's Southern California, it might be a little complicated for them to do that. I don't know that their system is tied in that well.
So now you've got credit. So what do you do when you go to the casino?
So basically, you do not have to bring any money with you. You just walk up to the table and you say, I'd like, $1,000 on my marker. They'll take your player's card. They check in their computer to see, what you have available. And if you have enough available, the pit guy comes back and he tells the dealer, usually gives them a little token that in my example would have like 1,000 on it, drops it on the table and says, give him 1,000.
Right. Because that way the eye in the sky can see, okay, no cash was exchanged here, but here's why we're giving him $1,000. They've got the marker out there. Right. Yeah. So, and it's a pretty fast process, isn't it?
It's
the time where you ask for it and they give you the chips.
Most definitely. It's very fast. And if they know you like me, they just go to the computer and they type in my name and, he's got plenty of credit, and they give you the cash. And then you play with it just like you would, as if you had given them cash. They give you chips, you play. Sometime after they've given you the cash, the guy will come around with a little slip that you sign, and it has all the information, your name and all that, and how much you took out. You sign it that you received it.
It's almost like you're signing a check.
Right. It's exactly like you're signing a check. And then what happens, I believe, is that they take that, they drop one copy of it in the box on the table. So like instead of the cash you would have given them, they drop that in there.
Right.
And then the other copy, somebody runs up to the cashier's office and gives it to them.
Yes.
And they record that, okay, he took out, $1,000.
Now, there are some casinos where they will actually keep all the paperwork at the table. And if after a session, you have enough to pay it back,
right,
you'll just give them the chips and they'll give you this marker back.
You the paperwork and you
just tear it up.
Right.
And that's not the case at Harrah's Southern California. What do they do?
No, they immediately take it up to the cashier.
Right away, yeah.
Yeah. And you can't even buy it back. I saw a case once where a guy got some money, played real quick, few rolls, and he said, "Oh, I'm coloring up. Do you have my marker?" No, they had already sent it.
Yeah.
Whether they had or not, it's too late.
That's just the policy.
And and that actually happened to me once. Remember, we cashed out, and for some reason I went up there and they hadn't processed it yet.
Right.
And I wanted to pay it back because I had the money. Oh, yeah,
that's right. But it hadn't gone through at the cage. Yeah.
And so the lady said, "Well, you have 2 weeks." So I just paid it back the next week. That's another thing. When you do establish a marker, depending on which casino it is, they have certain time you need to pay that back.
Right. So, if you don't pay it back right away, then there's like a grace period. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 90 days. It could be 1 week. It depends on the casino.
It depends on the casino. And I think maybe, and I don't know this for sure, but I think maybe it depends on the player and how much they've taken out.
Okay.
So, some guy with a huge account probably gets longer time to pay it back, right? A smaller account, maybe it's only a week. I don't know what the thing
and
is.
After that grace period has expired, if you have not actually paid it off at the cage, then they automatically withdraw it from your account.
Right. They automatically electronically withdraw it from your account. And that takes a few days.
Yes, right. That's not an automatic turnaround on that.
Yeah, that's not. So, let's say you knew that they were going to take out your money on Monday. Okay, and so you were going to go Monday night and play. Well, you better be prepared that that takes a certain amount of time. It might be Wednesday before your account is available again.
Right.
And once your markers reach the limit, you cannot get any more out.
Now, I think they have made some exceptions in your case only because you are a regular, and it's like, well, I see we've sent this through. There's no reason to believe that the funds aren't going to be available. So, just for today, somebody in the cage, some supervisor can sign something and then it's available
sign something
for you.
Off, right. Yeah, they will do that for certain players, I'm sure.
Well, what's nice is this credit is, in a way, an interest-free loan that the casino is giving you to play.
Right. Well, you have 2 weeks to pay it back. So let's say you took out $1,000, you lost that night. You don't have to immediately pay that $1,000 back. You can come back next week with it and pay it. So it's interest-free.
Well, and
you don't have to carry cash. That's the main thing.
That's the other nice thing. Yes, right.
The main thing.
And one thing. Let's say on one weekend you get a marker for $1,000, you lose it. The next week you come in, you haven't paid it off, but at the table you ask for another $1,000.
Right.
You play for a few hours and you just break even. So you still got your $1,000. Now you can go up to the cashier, pay off your original marker of $1,000.
Right. And you've got another 2 weeks.
And now you've got another 2 weeks to pay off this new $1,000. It's kind of like check kiting, except it's not illegal.
It's not illegal. Exactly.
Yeah.
And hopefully, let's say you lost $1,000 the first week, you come back, you take another $1,000 the next week, you play, you doubled your money.
Yeah.
You had some good rolls, you got your $2,000. You can cash out, go right up to the cashier and pay both off.
Pay them all off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the nice one.
That's the ideal scenario.
So you are relatively new to casino credit. It took a long time to kind of, convince you that's the right thing to do. Do you think?
I still don't know that it's the right thing to do.
That's what I was going to ask you, is if you're happy now that
I have mixed feelings about that. I like the fact that I don't have to get a bunch of cash out.
Yes, sure.
And if I don't have cash, I don't have to go up to the ATM and withdraw cash.
Right, and pay a fee or something like that.
Pay some kind of fee.
Yeah.
So I like that. Those are the good aspects. And, if you take some money out and let's say you have a night, you took out $1,000 and you ended up only with $600, you can go up and pay $600 off.
Yeah, right.
And then they write you a new marker, so you only owe $400.
Right. So that's a good point. You can partially pay off a marker.
You can partially pay off a marker at any time for any amount, and they just write you a new one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice because it's not like, well, you have to go home, you have some money in your pocket, but you owe them $1,000. No, you pay $600 off and you go home, you still only owe them $400.
Right.
So,
and again, that 2 week grace period also starts over, right? Even though you haven't haven't paid it off in full. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And, anytime before that 2 weeks, you can come and take some more money out and pay it off, like you said, and just keep delaying
Yeah.
it as long as you don't reach the max.
Right.
Then you're screwed. The part I don't like about the casino marker is, and this, I'm sure a lot of this is me.
Okay.
I mean, it's not everyone would be this way, but it does kind of, after you've lost, you've taken out some money and you've lost, you're thinking to yourself, normally you're out of money and you don't want to get any more and you just go home. This way it's like, well, I can get some more and try and win it back.
It's a little too easy.
It's a little too easy to
Okay.
get some more money
Yeah.
and try and win it back.
Yeah.
And if that goes poorly, then you've lost twice as much as you expected. So you have to be very disciplined.
Well, that's sure. So that's just a matter of self-control. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but that's hard.
Oh,
right?
hey, I know. Yeah, sure, I know.
Yeah. And then, and you're always thinking, oh, well, that went so quick.
Yeah.
It's surely going to turn around.
Of course.
Right.
That's just the law of gambling.
Right. I mean, the odds are in my favor. It's going to turn around.
It's got to turn around to even out.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
So, but that is the biggest pitfall, I think.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful
You
with
have
that.
to be responsible. Yeah.
And also, your personal finances could change.
Sure. Mhm.
I mean, you could have a $10,000 limit, and then for whatever reason later, you don't even have $10,000 in your checking account.
Sure.
And then it's like, oh gosh, I owe the casino. I don't know what they do in a case
Well,
like that.
yeah, then it probably goes over to collection agency, and depending on the state, how are they able to do that?
I'm sure they would take your marker privileges away.
Oh, yeah, sure. That'd be number one. Yeah.
And you'd probably, I mean, not be too welcome in their casino
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
And hopefully I never find that out.
No, I don't think you will.
And I'm not going to ask.
Yeah, really. Yeah, go up there. You have a theoretical question for a friend of mine.
What would happen if?
All right. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512 wagers.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Bob.
Yeah, hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. My name is Bob. I'm calling from London, Ontario, in Canada. Frequent Vegas visitor. We go there 3 or 4 times a year, so we've probably been there 45, 50 times. Typically, blackjack is the game that I play, and I have for years now, and I like to think that I play pretty much perfect basic strategy, so I need some tips. Is the reason I'm calling. I know there's variation, and I know there's ups and downs. I have gone, I'd say, the last 10 to 12 trips where I cannot win at blackjack. Not just win for the trip, win for a day, win for a sitting. It's ridiculous. It's really frustrating. So I think, well, I've been listening to You Can Bet on That for the last year or so, and I have a vague interest in craps, and so I started to get more interested in it. And so when things go bad at blackjack, I sort of turn around and just take my chips and I'll play a craps game. I can't. Same bad mojo sort of follows me. I guess what I'm asking is, I'm a low roller player. Blackjack, I'm typically betting, $10 a hand. And I look for a $5 craps table, and if I roll a point, if it's a $5 bet, I'll put $15 behind it. Anyway, I just find that I'm getting wiped out in craps. I love the notion of the game, and I've had a couple of times where I've really enjoyed it because there has been a bit of a run. What amount of money do you think a low roller, like a $5 table, and you're basically making $5 flat bets and backing them up with maybe 3 times odds, how much bankroll do I need in order to even survive? I've lost $100 at a craps table in literally less than 5 minutes. Of course, I've done that at blackjack too by doubling and splitting and losing. I love both those games. Increasingly liking craps, but just getting this bad result time after time after time, and sort of taking the fun out of it. So, just looking for some overall tips from you guys, and hopefully we'll bump into you during the 360 Vegas vacation. Because although I'm not taking part in the actual event, we're going to be there at that time, so I'll try to look you guys up if I can and maybe bump into you somewhere. But thanks very much. You guys do a great job. and we will talk to you again sometime. Bye-bye.
Good.
I think I've got Bob's answer.
All right.
Just real quick. When he's at 360 Vegas Vacation,
Yeah.
I'll go with Bob up to a cage of his favorite casino. We'll fill out forms and get him a $10,000 marker.
Okay.
And then
The credit. And then,
yeah, a 10,000 marker credit, and then he'll be fine.
Bob's talking about a losing streak. Dr. Mike, I think one thing that has humbled us as
Yes.
gamblers is how horribly long and devastating losing streaks can be.
Oh, it is ridiculous. And how many times, just take a guess, how many times have one of the two of us said to the other one, I can't believe it was that bad?
Yes.
I mean, we probably said that to each other 500 times.
Well, Dr. Kev on Tipping the Odds Las Vegas said that he ran a simulation on 40,000 blackjack hands where he actually had an edge. I don't know what parameters he put in. He said after 40,000 hands, he was down.
Really?
And think about 40,000 hands. Now then, like the week later on Gambling with an Edge, they had a guest on, again, who ran 1 million hands on blackjack.
Which is probably more than you can play in your lifetime.
Exactly, right? Where he had an edge, I think it was card counting, and he was down after 1 million hands. That's with an edge. Now, a small edge, sure.
Right.
Maybe less than 1% or around 1%, but still an edge.
Yeah.
That's how bad it can be.
Right.
So it's humbling.
Yes.
And it's almost unbelievable. You think, how can it be this bad? Because if you haven't had one yet, if you're new to gambling or haven't gambled that much and decide you want to gamble more, you'll be surprised. It's coming, and it's going to be devastating.
Yeah. You know what, though, to get into a serious note on Bob's question is, don't change the way you're playing.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying.
Don't go crazy. Don't think, oh, I'm on a bad streak. I got to change this by, making $100 bets.
No, definitely don't chase money.
Don't chase
your
money.
Yeah.
Don't change anything you're doing. Just know in your mind that at some point, it'll turn around. Now, it could be a long time.
Could be a long time.
And you might be broke before that. That's why you need that $10,000 marker. But it will turn around, right?
Eventually, it will turn around.
You'll
but
have
we're
a
not,
winning
We're not
session.
telling you it's happening today, tomorrow, this month, this year.
Right.
But eventually, it'll turn around.
Turn around.
Getting specific to his question about how much he needs in a bankroll for craps, if you're at a $5 craps table and all you're doing is betting the pass line with maybe three times odds, $100 should last you a little while. If you're doing, if you're doing anything else, like making come bets as well, or placing the 6 and 8 for $6 or $12, I would say $300.
Correct.
Or maybe for a session.
Right. And I think if you're going to, really go out there and you're going to make a few hard way bets or some prop bets or bet the fire bet or something, $500 is probably
that if you're going to make a lot more bets. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about a session. When we say bankroll, craps is a negative EV game. In the long run, you're going to lose money playing craps. So eventually your bankroll is going to be gone. But how much money you need for a specific session? Yeah, I think those are good figures.
Yeah. And it's a negative EV game, but that's why we're there. We're trying to beat the odds.
Yeah, that's part of the fun is beating the odds.
Of the fun. And you're playing as smart as you can. I mean, you're a lot smarter at playing.
You're talking about me specifically.
You specifically, and hopefully everybody else.
Okay.
I mean, I'm out there a little more aggressively.
Yes.
And I'm actually making it a lot harder for myself to win. But I enjoy the fact that when I do beat them, I really beat them.
That's true. You have a big one. Now, this last week, folks, we went up to Harrah's, Southern California. And for a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours, I did not play. I sat next to you.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. That's right. We didn't go last week. Yeah. We sat there and you played for 2 hours, and all I did was keep track of every single bet you made and all the rolls.
Right.
Talk about a nerd. I'm sitting there. All the dealers know me, so they're laughing at me.
When you went to the bathroom, they're all like, "What's he doing? Why is he doing this?" And I'm like, "Well, he's down and he doesn't want to pull out any more money."
I was having that was one reason. The other reason was I was going to maybe if I show Dr. Mike some of these things in black and white, I can convince him to start making.
You didn't really think that would work, did you?
But I showed you those.
You're smarter than that.
I showed you those results from last night. Were they sobering at all?
They were sobering. So it turns out Mark kept track of all the rolls, every dollar amount I bet, where I bet it, what came up, and not just like a 6 came up. I mean, at 4-2 or
I had a shorthand for getting everything down.
He got everything down, all the info you could possibly get. He puts it in the computer. Turns out if I had just made a pass line bet, nothing else,
pass line with odds,
with full odds. I would have won $55 for the night.
$55 instead of the horrendous amount you lost. I won't give the figure, but you would have won for the night.
Right. And, it was all the other bets. The one thing, looking at all your statistics, when you showed me how much I lost on hard ways, I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was no surprise to me at all because I could tell you at the end of the night because they weren't coming up.
Yeah, and Mike
I wasn't
parlays.
winning any.
Mike waits for those parlays.
I wait for the parlays, and none of the parlays were hitting. So I knew most of my loss that night was from hard ways.
Yeah.
What surprised me is how much I actually lost on place bets.
Oh, yeah, the way that it happened.
Because it was as much as I lost on hard ways.
It was a combination of whenever you decided to make big place bets, it was an immediate 7 out.
Right.
And then other times you'd make smaller place bets, but you'd press them.
Right.
And then they wouldn't repeat.
And they
so
wouldn't repeat.
you lost a lot of them.
They hit once and didn't repeat. Yeah. That is one of my shortcomings is when I make a big place bet, I tend to collect it.
Yes.
When I make a small place bet, I tend to press it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
your timing was bad.
My timing was bad. If I had, on some of those ones, if I had pressed the big ones, I would have won for the night, right?
Of course you would.
But I wouldn't have done that because
you're a smart gambler.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, hopefully we answer your question, Bob. I would say, 100, 300, 500 really depends on how you're going to be betting at the craps.
Yeah, and if we do see a Vegas 360, we will not be filling out a marker form for you.
No, but you might buy him a well drink.
I will buy him a well drink for sure, 100% guaranteed on that.
All right.
And we'll play some craps and have some fun. And maybe we'll sit down at a blackjack table.
I wouldn't mind. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, we do that every once in a while.
All right, let's hear from Vinny. Vinny actually called on his way to Borgata, and the call just kind of got messed up, so I'm not going to use that. But this was his follow-up call.
Hey, guys, it's Vinny from Long Island again. As promised, calling back with my trip report. Started off the trip, as mentioned, at Borgata. Went for that Saturday Deep Stack Series. It's a 100K guarantee poker tournament. Played for about from 11 to maybe 8 or 9 at night. Sadly, came up short of the money, so that was very disappointing, but, I figured what the hell, going out to the craps tables now, and was kind of excited about that. Went to the craps tables, as mentioned, 3, 4, 5 odds now. Was looking around and was confused because I did not see the tables that had the sharpshooter bet that I previously mentioned. So, again, no all small tall, but they always had that sharpshooter bet where you had to roll different combinations of each of the numbers. I asked one of the pit bosses, and he said, unfortunately, they took them out. So there were no more bonus bets or feature bets on any of the craps tables at Borgata. Did talk to death with one of the dealers who said that he heard rumors that the all small tall may be coming. So that is definitely a positive there.
I just want to stop Vinny there. I think he's talking about the hot roller side bet. Right. That's the bet where you have to roll like every combination of a 4 and every combination of a 6.
Right.
Once you've rolled all the combinations of at least 2 point numbers, you get paid. That's the hot roller side bet, and I think that's the one that they used to have at Borgata.
Well, I'm right there with Vinny. I get confused on the names, the sharpshooter,
well,
the hot roller.
Ones. Yeah.
Let's call them all sharpshooter bets.
Yeah, sure. Let's.
I mean, what the hell?
All right. Yeah, that'll make it less confusing.
Today, woke up, after having a pretty down night there at Borgata, losing a couple of buy-ins at craps, went over to Golden Nugget for the first time. I've been to Golden Nugget in Vegas a few times, but Golden Nugget in Atlantic City is the old, Trump Arena. I haven't been there since it's been Trump Castle, probably when I was 21. But do have fond memories there with my family. Wanted to go check it out. Heard good things about some of the value they have there. So I did go, and was pleasantly surprised. Definitely, maybe an older crowd, I guess I can say, a little bit more subdued, darker, kind of dark colors, dark red, dark black, but I did really like the casino. First off, they gave me their chairman's elite card, which is their top card, just for showing my diamond, my black Borgata card as well. So that gave me some free play there. Also gave me access into their chairman's lounge. By no means is this equivalent to, Borgata's Amphora lounge, but probably similar to Harris's or, Caesar's Diamond lounges. They had, some pizza, pasta station, carving station. Probably rated maybe a 6.5 and a 7 out of 10, but definitely, appreciate the fact that they gave that to us. The craps tables, as delivered, had 10 times odds. One table, 5 times full odds on the other few tables. The 10 times odd table when I got there was $10, which was great. But by the time I left here this afternoon, it was $25, which really nobody was kind of maxing out on that for the most part. But the $10 and the $15 tables were 5 times full. So, I ended up transitioning over there. They did have the all small tall with the 176 to 1 or 175 to 1, the full-time odds there. So I thought that was great. Did play for a while, had a couple good rolls, and ended up, leaving positive for the trip thanks to that. So, was definitely very happy. Definitely will go back. 1-to-1 on comps on Starbucks, 1-to-1 on comps on their convenience stores and such, which was, again, nice to see because I'm always a little hesitant to spend $5 in comp for a soda when I'm at Borgata at the convenience store before I leave. Ended up earning like $60 in comp. So I don't know what the rooms are like. Don't know what kind of offers I'm going to get. But for anyone who listens here who wants to go to AC, I would definitely recommend trying out the Nugget. I will be back. Appreciate everything you do, guys, and I will be back next week as I'm going to Harrah's, Atlantic City. Probably another trip report. Thanks.
Good. All right. Thanks for the report, Vinny. We didn't get to Golden Nugget when we were at Atlantic City, did we?
No, we did not.
Yeah.
No.
So that's good to hear that some good things about that. Yeah. Who knows when we'll get back there.
I hope we get back there at some point.
Yeah.
Because, it's funny because we hear so many contrasting things about Atlantic City, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah. One of our listeners, though, wrote to us and said, he had just a miserable time there. And so,
and my brother, who's been there many times.
That's right. We did you find out why he didn't enjoy it? I forgot about that. You were going to ask him.
He just didn't enjoy it. He said,
was it just bad gambling? I mean, because that
the
can happen
gambling
anywhere.
wasn't good, right?
Yeah.
That didn't help. But he said, no, the dealers didn't seem very friendly.
Oh, that was,
It was just didn't have anything good to say about his last trip to Atlantic City. And he's loved it in the past.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could have just been a bad time.
All right. Well, we're still pro Atlantic City. So
yeah.
What's
funny about us is
what's funny about us, Dr. Mike?
Well, people who know us and judging by our personalities, you would think that we would be kind of upset when we lose. But that really doesn't affect a casino.
Oh, you mean how what we thought of it, whether we won or lost?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
When we go
we're pretty objective when it comes to that. Yeah.
Right. Winning or losing doesn't affect our outtake of the casino, really.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah.
It's other things that get to us. But but the winning, I mean, we get mad if we can't park right in front. Yeah. But if we lose $1,000, that doesn't faze us.
That's going to happen anywhere. Yeah. Okay, let's hear from our buddy Wendell.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Wendell from Denton, Texas, part of the Denton Down and Beyond crew. I had to call y'all. I know I called y'all like 2 weeks ago, but I have to call you about my trip report because this is the biggest trip money-wise I've ever had.
Nice.
Ever. I'm up like 3,000, which is pretty good for me, I guess. So anyway, Friday night, we're stuck going to Oklahoma casinos, as you know. So Friday night, went to WinStar, and I was riding the wave, great, and then I decided to go all in on blackjack. And that did not work out good for me. So I was down like 400 in a half a second. I was like, it was like I split like 3 times, something crazy, and then I doubled down, whatever it was, It was a good hands. I don't even remember. It was like 3 in the morning. But anyway, so I was already mad. I was over the trip. And then Saturday morning, I was meeting up with Rue from Denton Down and Beyond. Saturday morning, I walked in and I won like 1,400 within like 5 minutes on some slots. So I was like, I was good, for the trip. I'm like, my word. Then I went to video poker, and I hit 4 aces on like my second hand for 400. I was betting 50 cents for the max. So then I walked to the other end of the casino, and I hit 4 fours with the kicker. The second hand I hit on this other bar. So I was like, whoa, I'm done. Gotta hold on to my money. And then Rue hit me up, and he was at another bar. So I went over there, and the second hand I hit was 4 aces with the kicker for $1,000. So then for real, I was like, okay, I got to go put this money away. And then Rue and I hit like 4 more 4 of a kind, just started gambling, like crazy. I won a few hundred on this other slot machine.
And he wanted to stop.
He hit blackjack, and I was staying away from that since it didn't work Friday night. And I sat down with this guy that was obviously really knows his slots or whatever, man. He was like passing out hundreds to random people. He wanted everybody to be playing on this one section. So I started playing 2 machines at once for $6 each hit. And I ended up hitting like almost $1,000 on that. So I was like, time for bed. So anyway, it was a great trip. If you guys are ever in the area, WinStar World Casino. Later, guys.
Isn't it great when just everything comes together?
Yeah, right.
It's just you can't lose.
I like that he wants to, he's making a smart decision. And
To
Rue's
stop,
like,
right?
to stop. And Rue's like, no, come over here, play this. And then he wins.
Yeah, I know.
Because, when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's where it all went bad.
right. But instead, Rue's saying, see, I told you.
Yeah, and Rue's like, and you wanted to stop.
Yeah, and you wanted to stop. Oh, that's a great story.
That's a good
Congratulations,
story,
Wendell. That's terrific. All right, let's hear from Steve from Gambool.com.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Steve from Gambool.com. Enjoy the podcast. I wanted to give you a quick trip report. I took the family out to Sam's Town last weekend, and I know Sam's Town gets dogged on for kind of being the circus of the off-strip casinos, but it's pretty good if you can take your family there. It's got a pool and bowling alley and nice movie theater and cheap eats, too. For gambling-wise, it has a pretty low limits, $3 craps with 20 times odds. So
that's great.
I played the high limit table, $5 limit, and I had a question wondering if you guys had ever experienced somebody pass posting during a craps game. The guy next to me got caught by the boxman trying to put his hands over the odds to pull him back, and I was surprised he didn't get kicked out, but he sounded like he was a regular there and had done that several times. So I was just wondering if you guys had ever seen that before. I was surprised he did it, considering the penalties in Nevada for cheating at casino, but he clearly was trying to pull his odds back after a 7 was rolled. So anyway, just wanted to say I enjoyed the podcast, and I put a small wager on the Padres to win the World Series for you, 100-1 odds. So don't count that money yet. So anyway, enjoy the podcast. Keep up the good work. Bye.
What do you think of that, Mike? 100-1.
I love that. That's money in the bank, Mark.
Oh my God. See, I know there are a lot of listeners who are just tired of us whining about San Diego sports, but this is going to be a horrible year for the Padres.
This is probably the worst year ever. And, I've been a fan for the last 57 years, and this is probably going to be the worst year ever.
At least I smile when I think about the Padres. I don't smile when I think about the Chargers.
No.
Even before they left.
Yeah, right. Well, I appreciate Steve making a wager. That's very nice.
Yeah, very
nice. I pray to God it wasn't more than $1. Because I'd hate to see him lose that money.
Hey, I've stayed at Sam's Town before when the boys were younger.
Yeah,
it actually was a good place for families. We got one of the suites there, real cheap.
Yeah.
And,
we should take our families.
Well,
your kids and wife, my kids and wife, seriously, and go to Sam's Town.
Well, I mean, my kids are kind of older now. I don't think there's like
they don't like swimming in the pool?
Well, you could do that anyway. All right, I'll just go along with what you say this time and say, all right, let's take all our families to Sam's Town.
My kids would actually love that at this age that they're at.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
agree. Yeah,
they would love that.
Yeah,
they'd love to swim and they'd love the food and all the, bowling. I'd love a bowling. We'd have to drive because I want to bring my own ball.
Yeah,
I'm not using a house ball.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. You're going to be in a casino and you're going to take some time out of casino play to go bowl. You going to really do that, Dr. Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to have to bowl 300 games.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing that would make it worth it.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing to make it worth it if I bowled 300s.
Now, as far as the past posting go, well, now technically past posting is when a player makes a bet after a winning outcome has occurred. So, maybe the guy's made a point and then you put money on. So this is kind
posting your bet too late.
Too late, right? After the result is already, the winning result has already come up. In this case, it's sort of the opposite, right? Somebody is taking money back that has actually lost.
Yeah, they actually call that just cheating. Okay. Because I think that's what he was doing.
Have you ever seen that? I don't think I've caught anybody intentionally doing it. I've seen like novices not realize...
I've seen novices trying to grab their money in the middle of a roll, like off the pass line.
Off the pass line. They don't know it's a contract bet.
They don't know they can't take it away. But no, I don't think I've ever seen anybody actually try and get their odds. Although, maybe I should just stand at the table with my hand kind of hovering over my odds.
Yeah.
And as the dice start to slow, nope.
Yeah. Try it this week.
Odds.
Try it this week. Yeah,
it doesn't work so good with the cards.
Oh, that's true.
Because you can't see the dice.
All right. In Vegas, where nobody knows you, try it and then see what happens.
Yeah. You can pick me up my crumpled body in the desert afterwards.
So Steve has a follow-up call, but first we're going to hear from Chris.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Chris and Keller. I was just giving you a call, tell you a little story about, I was playing craps. This was around New Year's Eve. I went over there to Memphis and went to Tunica with Mark and Karen from 360 Vegas. And so was going to tell you the story about, I was at the craps table And one thing that kind of drives me nuts are the people that have a little routine. Okay, I don't mind a little routine. What I mind are the routines that take a minute, or I guess in reality, maybe 30 seconds. But like one guy, the whole table, everyone's picking up the dice, they're rolling, everything's going good. Well, it gets to this one guy. He's got a whole routine. I mean, you would have thought he threw bones on the table and is trying to, like, predict things. I mean, this guy, he had to rub the felt with his hand. Then he had to put the dice a certain number or a certain way. Then he had to rub the dice on the table. Then he took his hand off the dice and rubbed his hand on the table again. Then he put his hand on the dice. Then he would do a thing like he fake would toss them and do it like 3 times, and then he would finally toss them. Well, first time he did this, he craps. He gets like a 3. So then I'm just like, oh, crap. So I put my bet back, and he rolls a number. It's like a 6 or something. So I'm like, okay. He does his whole routine again. I mean, this is like 5 minutes, and he's only rolled. He's about to roll like his 3rd time. So he rolls again, and boom, 7's out immediately. And I yell across the table. I'm like, dude, you spent all that time to roll a 7? Your whole routine to roll this magical number and this magical long roll you were going to have, and you just 7'd out. And I was talking to Mark, and I was like, that's why I grab the dice and I just throw it. There's nothing I'm going to do to that dice that's going to make the magical number that I want to appear. It's all random, but oh well, that's my story. But I just wanted to let you guys know. Anyways, love the show. I can't wait to see you guys at Vegas Vacation 4. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
God bless you, Chris, for saying something. I've always wanted to. I'll turn to you, Mike, and think, a good thing he went through all that rigmarole.
We turn to each other, and we have some quite a few comments that we can't say on the air.
But God bless you for speaking up and letting him have it. Oh my God, it's so true. It's
I would love to see that.
Are you convinced now that all of this that you're doing either causes 7s to come out or more likely has no effect?
I got 2 things. Right. Do you remember that the one guy rolled the dice and he made a point and then immediately 7'd out? Yeah. And the guy next to you said to the person next to him on the other side of him, yeah, you know why that happened is because that other guy walked up to the table, and when he changed the aura of the table, the guy just like walking up, right? And you just rule out, yeah, that's what did it. And he thought you were serious. That's the funniest part.
That's right. He didn't. Yeah.
He's like, yep.
You're absolutely right.
Yep, that's it.
I'm confirming what you just said.
Just some guy walked by. That's what did it. Idiots. And you know what? This is how much this bothers me when people play that extensively play. I don't mind a little.
Sure, of course. Set them on flip them or whatever.
You like to set them on 9, set them on 9, but throw them quick. You know what? How bad this? I've had times where I've had $500 on the table, and all I'm thinking is, just roll 7 out, so you don't have to roll anymore. Just 7 out. I don't care that I lose all that money out there. Just 7 out. I want to move on to the next shooter.
All right.
My God.
May I suggest next time you call your bets off when you're thinking that way?
I don't even want to do that. Just 7 out. Get the hell out of here. Oh my God. No. People like that drive me crazy.
All right. Well,
the only thing that makes me more mad is if they actually say something like, well, I have to do this. Because they've got to go through it. Well, you get a certificate from your doctor showing me where you have some OCD where you have to do this every time, then I'm okay with it.
All right. Well,
otherwise,
let's listen to Steve's follow-up call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Steve again. I forgot to mention that same guy or the boxman had caught pass posting, he had kind of busted my chops after I 7'd out. Just real quickly, I established a point of 5, and then the dealer handed me the dice with the 3-2 up showing for the 5, as they do a lot. And so my style of throwing is just to grab them and chuck them against the wall really quickly. And I 7'd out right away. And this guy to my left, that same guy who was fast posting, he kind of said, "What are you doing? The dealer had handed you the 5, and you need to be more gentle, more careful. You just grabbed them and threw them. I wouldn't have put $100 out there if I would have known you weren't going to be careful." So I was just asking you guys, since you're the craps experts, if there's some secret technique to rolling a 5 I wasn't aware of. If you're just more gentle, is it mathematically more possible for a 5
the lower numbers come up more.
Yeah, because they're softer, right?
Yeah, they're softer.
Exactly.
They float to the top.
And if so, if you guys have been holding out that kind of secret for us, not telling your listeners about that kind of craft secret, I'm just really disappointed in you guys. So Anyway, again, enjoy the show, and I'll email you a copy of that Padres ticket. For what it's worth, I put a bet on my Rockies to win the World Series. They're about the same odds as the Padres. So anyway, again, enjoy the show. Bye.
Two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah,
a guy
right.
yelling at you because you didn't fiddle with the dice and, get them, and that's why the 7 came out. And he's hearing this from a cheater.
Right. Well, the guy who's just got caught cheating.
Yeah.
He's going to tell you how to roll the dice.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. People drive me crazy. We've heard a lot, right? Well, the best example, and I think I said this on a podcast, probably quite a long time ago, but remember we were in Vegas and a guy told me I made a bet for the dealers. And then it was an immediate 7 out.
Because you had made a bet for the
dealers. And he said
yeah.
it was because I made a bet for the dealers.
Yeah.
They're losers, he said. And you bet for them. That's why 7 came up. And like me making a bet for the dealers caused a 7 to come up.
Boy.
Oh, I wanted to punch him so bad.
I wish the world did work that way.
Yeah.
That there was this mystical kind of, the dice knew.
It'd be easy to figure out, right?
Yeah, it'd be great.
You just got to throw them lightly and then hard tens will always come up. I mean, it is so people, how do they get through their life?
Oh, all right. They're all around us, Mike.
Yeah.
So they're doing something.
Well, what's funny is Steve bet on the Rockies too. And it's probably the Padres and Rockies fighting for last place in that division.
Well, I'm sure for the division. Yeah.
I can't see it going any other way.
Good luck to us all.
Yeah.
You know what? We've got some more phone calls, but I'm going to save them for our next episode because our next episode we're going to have to record early.
Right, because I'm going to be
going to D.C.
Right.
We're still going to post the podcast on its scheduled date of Thursday, March 30th, but we're going to record it a week early. So I want to make sure we have a lot of content because we do still have some phone calls that we didn't play on this episode.
That Wednesday night before that podcast comes out, I'll probably be at MGM National Harbor.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll probably tell whoever meets me there all about the episode. They won't have to listen.
They won't have to listen.
I'll just repeat it.
Yeah. Hey, one more thing before we end it here. So there's a push this month among podcasters to encourage listeners to tell their friends and families about podcasts. There's still plenty of people out there who don't know what podcasts are.
Right.
And so this month is being called Tripod Month, where tripod is spelled TRYPOD, like try podcasting, right?
Try it
Tripod.
out.
And then
Try it out.
Yeah, it's like a hashtag on Twitter,
Right.
tripod. And the great thing about podcasts is that you can find audio content on the internet that focuses on subjects that might not make it into mass media, like gambling.
Right.
You're not going to have a daily show on the radio or anywhere that goes for 4 hours that, is just talking about gambling.
And there's a lot of things.
A lot of different interests.
I was
that you
telling my
might have,
aunt about gardening.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I mean, there's a lot of podcasts on gardening and stuff,
tons.
and you can find information elsewhere.
Sure,
but it's easy to just listen to a podcast.
It's great. I mean,
right?
especially listening in the car, and I commute quite a bit, so I mean, they're great for me. So please go out and tell people about podcasts. And in that spirit, I wanted to list all the gambling and Las Vegas related podcasts that I listen to. Okay.
All right. Do we have time for this?
Well, I hope we have time for this. So in alphabetical order. All right. These are the ones I listen to. Andy Up Poker, Casinos USA, Comped Vegas, Cousin Vito's Casino, Due for a Win, 88 Days to Macau, Faces and Aces Las Vegas, 5 Honey by Midnight, Gamblers Book Club, Gambling with an Edge, Las Vegas Warm-Up, Tipping the Odds Las Vegas, Top Pair Home Game Poker, 360 Vegas, UNLV Gaming, Vegas Fanboy, Vegas Gang, Vegas Bright, Vegas Tourist, Vegas Tripping, Vice Lounge Online, and Vital Vegas. And I listen to some additional podcasts too that aren't necessarily gambling related. I listen to Coverville. Brian Ibbett plays cover versions of songs. Denton, Dallas, and Beyond, our good friends from VIMF.
Right.
And I also listen to WTF with Mark Maron, great interview show. I listen to all those. Now, I listen to all of them at double speed because that's a lot of them. But I listen to every one of those podcasts.
You left one off.
Which one is that?
The You Can Bet on That podcast.
I actually listen to our episones 2 or 3 times because I'm always trying to find mistakes.
I always listen to them just because, I don't know why, but it's like, that one came out okay. And sometimes, that one wasn't so good.
I listened to our last episode for a second time and found a mistake. It's so minor and I'm not even going to bring it up, but it's the kind of thing like,
You're a perfectionist.
That's exactly right. All
My
right.
wife listens to a lot of podcasts, but they're so varied.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's,
in genre.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't even make sense if I told you, but she just has certain ones that she's found that she likes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the examples I'm giving are pretty, narrowly focused. But yeah,
focused.
That's exactly. If you've got a lot of different interests. So anyway, get out there, tell people about podcasts. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, we got a donation from, it's either Charles or Carol or both. Sometimes the name comes in and there's a name in the email and then there's a name that gets filled out and it wasn't really clear. So Charles and or Carol, thank you very much. Also from Todd and Amanda, our good friends. Remember Todd wrote How a Math Nerd Plays Craps, which is available on our website. So here's what they said. They sent us a PayPal donation for a Vegas trip that they're taking here next week. They told us to roll a die. If it's a 1 or a 2, put the PayPal donation on a horn high ace deuce. If the roll is a 5 or a 6, put it on horn high yo. If it's a 3, put it on a hard 6. And if it's a 4, put it on a hard 8. And if the die rolls off the table, buy hot dogs.
Wow.
So that's our choice.
That's excellent advice.
I think we'll do that right after this podcast. We'll roll it. We'll see what we're going to do with it.
You better let me roll it because you'll throw it right off the table. You'll cheat. You want a hot dog.
I want a hot dog, right? And finally from Scott. Hey, thank you very much. He says, to my favorite podcast, I'm in Vegas the week of March 27th. I'll be searching for 000 roulette, 6 to 5 single deck blackjack, and craps tables with the big 6 and 8. Scott from the great state of North Carolina. # go Heels.
Oh boy. Number 2 seed in the whole tournament. Those Tar Heels are there.
All right. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS, or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonthat. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. So like you said, Mike, probably Wednesday, March 29th, that night is when you're going to be going to MGM National
That's
Harbor.
my plan right now.
You said your wife is making like
permitting,
all sorts of plans. So
she's
you don't
made
know.
all kinds of plans, but she's left Wednesday night available.
Okay.
Because she knows I want to go out there.
Okay.
Now, hopefully the weather will be fine and, there won't be any issues. I'm not going to say 100% I'm going to be there, but right now it's like 99%.
All right. Well, watch our Twitter feed. I'll tweet on your behalf and let everybody know when you're going to be out there. And I'm going to give you some phone numbers too of some listeners that contacted us.
And we need to contact the casino too.
Oh, let them know you're coming?
Let them know I'm coming, right?
Okay.
Right? Maybe they'll send a limo for me.
Maybe. Why don't you make that call? All right? I don't think you've got a lot of M Life points, but why don't you make that call?
I don't think they know
we don't play there enough.
I don't think they know I exist.
All right. Anything else for us, Dr. Mike?
No, I think, watch basketball.
Yeah, enjoy.
Enjoy the spring training because baseball's here soon.
Looking forward to that.
You can, enjoy that. Go out to your casino, have fun. Life is good.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.